placement. One of the first things we all learned when we started teaching yurchenkos, you all, most of you probably aren't as old as I am. I say y'all a lot, I'm from the Midwest. You're not as old as I am, most of you, so you probably don't remember 15, 16, 17 years ago we started teaching yurchenkos, and about a year or two into that, all of us realized, wow, the way we're teaching roundoffs on the floor don't seem to work too well with yurchenkos, or we just didn't pay enough attention to them. So we learned that the hard way. But one of the first things I learned teaching yurchenkos was how important hand placement was. My first girls that I taught yurchenkos to back in the 1990s started getting sore wrists. It's still a common issue with yurchenkos nowadays. So I had several girls who were getting sore wrists. And the only thing I could think of was we were doing yurchenkos. So I pointed my video camera at the hand mat where they were putting their hand down. At the time we didn't use a hand mat, believe it or not. I pointed it at the vault runway where they put their hands down on the roundoffs. And what I realized is that these girls were running full speed down a runway and throwing their hands down on the floor with their hand pointing backwards and their wrist bent over at an angle that you can't even imagine. Well, you can, but it looked painful on the videotape. And I realized, well, no wonder our hands and our wrists are always sore. So the old roundoff that I taught with second hand turned in for tumbling, for ball, I switched it to two hands pointing sideways. There are a lot of different thoughts on how to do this. This is what I prefer because it tends to eliminate wrist problems. We also have a lot of girls and their supports on this. So, I just told you the answer to this question. Which way should the hands point on a round-off entry? Like I said, there's no perfect answer, but if you had to choose between green pointing sideways, yellow turned a little bit toward the way you came from, or red turned around backwards, which would you think would be the best? I just kind of gave you my opinion anyway. That doesn't mean it's right. There's a reason why I use green, yellow, and red here. Green is go, yellow is caution, and red is stop. If you have girls that are turning that hand clear around backwards on a roundoff for a yurchenko, you're probably going to want to stop having them do that. Unless something else is going on in the roundoff that alleviates, all that pushing, bending, and all those things that we don't want. Real quick, here's something we do in our gym a lot. This is on tumble track. So it's tumble track drill. We chalk the girls up when they take ball turns. If I think there's a roundoff diving or reaching around too far, we chalk them up and we check their hands. It's kind of an automatic thing. Actually, all I have to do is tell the girls, go put on some chalk, and you know what? Next turn, their hands get better. Because they know what we're looking for. But that's kind of what I'm looking for there. You can see the hands are pointing straight to the side. So as she's doing a roundoff, her weight's passing over her hands this way. She's not getting any of this, where you come in low. You're going to see a picture in a minute where the chalk print has sliding fingers, and then the palm goes down. The reason the fingers are sliding is that she can't put her wrist down yet, because her hand's on the floor at such an angle that her wrist can't come down yet. Doesn't look too bad here, but if you consider that she was running full speed to get to that point, you can see now why the wrist problems come in. That's got a little slide in it. I'm not sure that was the worst one you're going to see. Yeah, you can see how long the fingerprints are on those. She's having to wait. Her hands are sliding on the floor before her hands get down. That would be a red one. That's a red light. And I did tell that girl to stop doing her yurchenkos until she could change her hands. And she did have wrist problems. So we had to work on fixing that. I think this will show somewhat red. Second hand's red. First hand's pretty good. That's the big one you see. She's got a good line with her hands. We want them in a line. We don't want diving roundoffs, but we want to alleviate any pressure off the wrist. So that's why I put a lot of emphasis on hand placement on roundoffs when we start teaching that with the little kids. You can't wait. There's a definite red. You can't wait until they're older. There's a green, somewhat yellow with a second hand. And that girl was trying so hard to be green that she didn't even get her hands to green. But, she was trying to make the video look good. I appreciate that. So, most of these girls you're going to see on this video And most of the warm-up drills and the workout drills that I'm showing you were level 5s at the time. Please film these.